Literacy is a bridge from misery to hope, the road to human progress, and the means through which every man, woman, and child can realize his or her full potential. This is Varda chairing first Highflyers Global Literacy Leadership e-Symposium, where educational leaders from 6 different countries will be addressing literacy issues and their solutions, while 100K global teachers will be participating online. So if you're watching us, don't forget to mention your name and your country in the comment section. And I'm feeling so fortunate to introduce you to our speaker for Advocacy in Literacy. Ms. Jan Daudi is a master's in journalism and psychology, a former live TV host who is now based in UAE and ranked #1 LinkedIn creator in motherhood in the UAE. She began her career as an English teacher to migrant women and children displaced by war, training them in skills for empowerment. She is an award-winning safe space communication strategist recognized in Geneva for redefining leadership as safe space management. A best-selling author and expert in cross-cultural communications and spiritual visibility. Her executive trainings allowed her to be featured among the top 100 women globally, making an impact for entrepreneurial women in Africa. Hundreds of women have been transformed in her programs that offer both high-level elite communication skills and deep psychological work. And the list of her achievements is so long and the influence is so impactful that we cannot even cover everything in her introduction. So let's talk to her and know her better. Welcome, Ms. Jan. Thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to make any kind of positive impact, especially in assisting women in their global messaging.
Thank you so much. So kind and generous of you. So we are not going to waste any further time because our audience will be willing to listen from you. So I would start with my first question, which is how can educational leaders effectively advocate for literacy initiatives and what strategies can be implemented to ensure the sustainability of these programs?
I think as a mother of 5, I am always very keen to promote literacy. I was fortunate to be raised before the internet arrived. And now that I have 5 multicultural children, I am raising Arab children as well as they were born in the UK. I'm from the UK. I lived all over the world, been educated in Turkey, in the Middle East, in all sorts of multilingual, multicultural environments. One thing is clear. I have taught migrant women, the most vulnerable people in the world, children displaced by war, language skills. This ability to read, write, literacy has empowered them from being zero to hero. This is very clear in the work that I've done with vulnerable people. Now, in the current work that I do with executives and global leaders, I'm certified by Cambridge University in communicating for impact and influence. And this put me in touch with people running entire countries. I have the former minister of Afghanistan's education system in my cohort currently. World-class personalities cannot move forward successfully without literacy and communication skills, because that's always going to be the distinguishing factor between the successful people. So I would say the thing in common, multicultural diversity, that the world is moving in this moment. We cannot fail to interact with so many different types of people, online, in person. You being able to navigate and be successful in achieving great connections, great success, has to be based on literacy. The digital world and AI has its positives. It can give you access to information. But if your life is dominated with the digital, it can take away from your human skills. And that's one of the challenges I faced as a mother, raising 5 children in the digital age. I had to, we traveled with just minimal luggage. Sometimes we're moving house. Whenever we moved house, I got rid of so many things, but not the books. The books came with us because there's something, even as a psychologist, I'm actually majored in child development. I know that the tactile handling, the brain-hand connection, the biology of behavior with books, writing, reading, has a very different impact to growth and development than digital devices, which can actually remodel the brain in a way that is limiting and harmful and even addictive. So we must, as leaders, as mothers, as community members, promote literacy as a human skill.
in what ways can schools and educational organizations foster such type of leadership skills and promote educational opportunities specifically for girls? And what challenges needs to be addressed? As you have been facing it globally, you have a lot of exposure of multiple countries. You have been into the education systems for so long. So, what do you think? What can particularly needs to be addressed?
Well, with girls, and I have 3 girls, I am very keen in my safe space work to be aware that you cannot be the best if you are in survival mode. If you feel threatened, if you feel not comfortable, if you feel yourself on high alert, you're worried somebody will do something, or maybe there's bullying or harassment, or you're not feeling completely comfortable culturally for any reason, you must facilitate safe spaces for girls. Now, I know growing up in the UK, one of the unfortunate things that most girls had to navigate in co-educational situations is harassment and abuse from other male personalities, and the teenage culture, which normalizes objectifying girls and
Hmm.
navigating the distractions of always being on alert. That does not create an ability for a girl to develop her skills, to
Hmm.
develop confidence.
Hmm.
Online bullying and abuse nowadays is a huge problem for young people. The way that people can post your information, take pictures of you, violate your privacy, make you feel like an outsider, make you feel persecuted, group dynamics that get together
Hmm.
against a person. Young people are navigating these things. And I think giving the latest technology, having libraries full of amazing books, having opportunities to fund projects is not going to help people that do not feel comfortable, that do not feel that have their brain available to concentrate. So my first thing to address with executives or young people, if you want to be your highest version of yourself and your potential, you cannot be in survival mode. You must have safe spaces.
That's really important, because when we talk about literacy problems, people will always address things like, okay, what can be the learning difficulties, what can be the resources, what can be the opportunities, what are the challenges, but nobody talks about the mental state and the environment in which someone is growing up. So this was something really insightful. So, do you think that the education system in UAE empowers youth to lead literacy projects and initiatives? And what support mechanisms are crucial for success of such
Well,
programs?
I have, as I said, moved all over the world, and I've chosen to settle in the UAE. My 3 children at university, and I have 2 in school. So what I can say is, I have been absolutely comfortable with the ability for my children. The UAE happens to be one of the safest places in the world, from the point of view of crime and those things that make people feel unsafe. So I have
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of peace of mind as a mother to allow my children to come, go, not having to police them and worry too much about knife crime like in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
or people are going to come to kidnap them. That was a huge issue when I was traveling globally. Um, I am very happy with the ability for my kids to have access to resources and high quality resources. What I would say, and I'm addressing this directly, I've actually pitched to Sharjah Economic Forum for startup recognition in facilitating specific self-advocacy communication skills. And I think that globally, not just in the UAE, but globally, teaching people to understand safe space violations, the importance of safe spaces, and communicating your needs without feeling ashamed, embarrassed, awkward. Actually giving the skills of people to communicate their needs when they are not feeling happy. That is a critical global missing link. And I am facilitating organizations to have access to very simple, very easy tools, an AI agent that will be embedded in organizations that can have people type in their problem. Somebody called me a name and I don't know how to handle it. Am I being too sensitive? That's usually what goes on in your head. But you don't know how to say that to someone because you're afraid of looking stupid. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you kind of maybe want to talk to someone, but you don't. And then the problem gets bigger or the anxiety gets bigger. Right. Let's stop there. Time out. Why won't you go to an independent, neutral tool, which I've developed a prototype for. Type in your problem, and that tool is trained in my courses, my research over a year, and has my book uploaded and other resources uploaded. So it will answer how to handle communications dilemmas without feeling judged or without feeling awkward. Those kind of tools, if people have access to them, I've tested this in my beta program. Women have said it's transformed their lives, their ability to function. And I think those kind of tools for young people, training for young people, compulsory courses in safe space management, that's going to be a great addition to biology, mathematics, your degree. Sometimes the actual ability for you to have safe space awareness can take you further, faster, and not have 10 years of therapy because you got into a problem and you didn't know how to handle it. So I think these kind of skills is the missing link, and I hope to give solutions to that.
So these courses and these tools are available for organizations and institutions both. Like if I'm employed, I can also use it. And if I'm a student, I can also go for it.
Well, here's the thing with literacy. I believe that one of the missing links in even young children's books, and if you go to teenage popular culture, the actual ability to express yourself in a way that's not aggressive, making people feel that you're rude, being hyper masculine as a female. I think a lot of the discussion about expressing yourself has been combative. Like, I got to show myself that I'm stronger than everyone and make everyone down so I can be up. That kind of dilemma creates conflict. And literacy on that, and teachings on that, and role models on that is not available. So even heroes, the heroes, when they want to get their problem solved, they usually have to fight physically. Example, in the literacy examples of the role models we have. The superheroes, none of them, I'm just going to try to think, kid, do I know any? I don't know any superheroes that have the skills of being able to solve a problem without physically fighting.
Yeah, right.
I don't know any, male or female, by the way, male or female. So I think in literacy, that's a subconscious conditioning and training that you are by default not capable intellectually, that you are by default have to be either very physically strong or accept that you're going to suffer and be weak. But I, as a small person, and as a person who is of color, of very, very mixed background myself, I've been in situations where I've been made to feel belittled as a visible Muslim woman that wasn't always respected everywhere I went. And I've never been down, and I've never had to feel that I can't use my voice and express myself to make people understand my boundaries and they can't cross them. And that has allowed me to be successful without being held back, without wasting time in harassment dynamics. As an older person, I learned this skill, but I wish I had it when I was younger. I wish somebody had taught me this, because it would have saved me a lot of time historically. And I believe this is a time where new literacy models, new heroes, new examples should be present to train another way of you showing up as a powerful person.
That's what you are doing for other people. You are empowering them so that they won't suffer. That's so big of you, and that's why your influence and your impact is very evident. So, what do you think? What innovative approaches or technologies can be leveraged by educational leaders to globally enhance literacy rate and promote a culture of reading and writing?
Well, I was published at 9 years old, actually, and that was, I think, an example of me understanding the power of words, the power of writing about your authentic experience, because I witnessed bullying in the playground as a young girl in UK, and I used to always feel that this is not okay. I can't, it's called bystander apathy, by the way. I expressed that policy and people can fail you. So the policy may not help you and you might be alone, and people can watch you suffering. And I used to always feel, no, I'm never going to watch someone suffering. I'm going to step in. And I wrote about this in a poem, and it won an award and it got published. And I believe that that was a time when I understood the power of my voice, the power of my own words. I think nowadays, children, young people, youth, they get into unhelpful and unhealthy situations because they don't feel they have the power of their own voice. They get sucked into other influences, being manipulated easily, feeling that they don't have a choice to join in with something that they don't really, even culturally, it might not be right for them. To know and understand that, I call it self-advocacy, in the sense that you say what you mean what you say without being mean. Those three basic frameworks that I have in communications, it's very simple, but solves a lot of problems. And if the
Obviously.
literacy models and trainings, and I believe tools at a very early age, even to AI is good. And the reason why I use AI as the tool, it's scalable. It's easily embedded as an AI agent in any entity. And I think the positive side of AI is that it's neutral. You don't feel there's judgment when you're communicating with AI, but it still gives you actual, I would say, strategic advice based on the psychology, based on the facts, based on the language models, because it is a large language learning model, right? And I think that tool, when you want to embed it in accessible places like schools, like government institutions, anywhere, will give people the feeling that they're not alone, they're not isolated and silenced in something, and they can access something through the power of words, the power of language, that gives them empowerment themselves. I think that is an underused thing, and I think demonizing AI and making it the enemy is not helpful, because there are ways where it can serve us positively, but you just need to
Yes.
understand how, and that's my
I'm putting it.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever you said was very insightful, and I was thinking I could put it in my classroom because I am dealing with young kids every day. Most of them are preteens, actually, 9, 10, 11. And at that age, they are always very conscious of what's going around them and how people are perceiving them. So I can put it in my classroom, say what you mean without being mean
What
with
you
anyone.
say
This is
without being
so
mean.
good.
Yes.
So, this is going to be our key highlight, and it was a very fascinating discussion. And one more thing that I will never forget, that people and policies will fail you. So, you need to be self advocate, and you know how to put yourself in a positive way when you need it. So, I'm sure our audience is going to love it the way I loved it. Your perspective is very valuable, and I believe not only educational leaders, but everyday teachers, mothers, women who are watching from their homes can learn a lot from it. So, thank you so much. Thanks once again for your precious time and your valuable insight. And I wish our audience could learn more from you. So, I'll be sharing all the links of your courses in our comment section so that people can enroll and get
What I
benefited.
would say is that if anybody is interested in taking this further and they have been inspired by this conversation, I have a LinkedIn account where I have a free resource, which is available for safe space awareness. And anyone
Oh,
who
great.
does that, it's a 5-day free email course, and you get access to a group where you can actually ask me questions and you can open
Great.
up dialogue. This free platform is available on the link in my LinkedIn bio. So follow the LinkedIn and you will get access to that. And I would say that it's never too late to learn something about yourself, and never too late to change your whole life. And I know the women that have done these courses, it has changed their life. So I want you, there's no issue of investing huge amounts of money or being committed to a 6-month you don't need to do that. Just start with something that gives you awareness, which is why I made it free, and take it from there. So I invite everybody to do that.
I'm also coming for that just after this. Thank you so much once again. This is
Amazing. Thank
Varda signing out.